on right now. Yeah. Your mom was saying, yeah, lay her out.
Pretty much, yeah. If a woman's going to swing at you and put herself in the position of a man, treat her like a man and swing back.
Yeah, my dad was 100% opposite. He's like, you don't fight under any circumstance.
Oh yeah. My dad told me the same thing.
He's like, unless she's A, going to kill you, or B, she hits you in the nuts. Like, that is fair game. Like,
yeah, both of those scenarios are totally justified.
And he's like, the only justifiable for that is if you have to hit the ground first.
My mum was more extreme. There is no reason to hit a woman under any circumstances. No ifs, buts, or maybes. She's pulling a gun on you. You take the bullet, kind of thing. Which always confused. Like, even as a kid, I thought that makes no sense. But that's just, I guess, how she was brought up.
That's like the Bill Burr stand-up. Or was it Bill Burr? Or was it Daniel Tosh who's like, there's no reason to hit a woman. Really?
Yeah, that was Bill Burr.
What if she's drowning your kids?
Yeah,
no, that one was Tosh.
Burr was talking about like Rihanna and Chris Brown, though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You tell me there's no reason to hit a woman? I can think of like 9 of them off the top of my head. It's like, you just don't do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there's not a reason to.
That's like when he's talking about his wife hitting him. And like, she didn't even cock back as if I was going to hit her back. She just like, what? You're not going to do anything. And then it brings the one line that I absolutely love is, do you know how big of a dickhead I'd be if it were socially irresponsible to hit me?
Yeah, well, that's the same for everyone. If you knew you had complete immunity from consequence, everyone would be a jerk, because why wouldn't you be?
I'd be the biggest asshole you ever met.
Everyone would. It's like the whole consequence thing is why people actually are nice to each other, because they know if I'm a jerk to this person, I could cop a fist to the face, or get some sort of blowback that would be more trouble than it's worth.
No, growing up, it was pretty bad. My sisters beat the living shit out of me. And, I really can't find it. Oh, I should send him the link. They would walk up to me, like, while my dad and I were sitting there watching TV. And I gotta change that too. And yeah, they would come up and just punch me in the leg, punch me in the arm. Just literally just take me to the thing. And as soon as I just cock my arm back, like I'm just gonna, like, I want to, he's like, go to your room.
Oh, that's a bit rough.
They're like, they didn't do it. Go. I'm like, And so I'd end up in my room for like an hour and a half.
Oh no, like I was the oldest. I had younger sisters, and like the middle one, she tried to bow up to me when we were little kids. She was a biter too, and my mom got tired of that shit, so she cleared out the living room furniture, like push it all back, and she's like, "Just get it over with, both of you." And like I was stunned. I was like 6, maybe 7. So she was like, 4 or 5. And I was like, wait, what? Like, you want me to hit her? She's like, yeah, you two keep fighting. So just hurry up and get it over with.
Is she trying to daddy a 5, this situation?
No, she didn't record it. But she's like, I'm tired of listening to you two, bicker and fight, and you run in and tattling. Just beat the hell out of each other, get it over with, get it out of your system, and leave me the fuck alone. And my sister, she tried to like she didn't even hesitate. She tried to like double leg, takedown.
Jesus.
And this is before we even knew what the UFC was. And I just gave her the Heisman, dude. I just put my palm right in the middle of her forehead and I just started teeing off on her. So
she was like the chicken hawk and you a foghorn leghorn kind of thing.
yeah, pretty much. I said, boy, you're bothering me. But
now I've gotten good shots because you can only guard the kids for so long. But yeah, we got in a verbal argument and my sister charged at me, and I just went quick uppercut to the gut, and just like dropped her. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go in my room. I'm just gonna skip that process and just go in.
Oh yeah, like once my sister realized that not only could I hold her at bay, but I could just pummel her at will. Without even trying, yeah, she calmed down real quick. I think there was only like one other time that she and I really like came to blows, and like we were adults at that point, so my mom couldn't do shit.
I'm 12 years older than my sister, so any fight between us would have been so one-sided that it would have been me in trouble no matter what. Because, I mean, that kind of age difference. She knew better than to attack me. Well, obvious.
You would think my sister would know better than to attack me. I'm 6'2", like 210, 215. She's 5'8", maybe 140. But she thinks that she's big and bad.
I suppose that's what you get when you remove consequence from someone's life. They think they can do whatever the hell they want.
Well, no, like the last time, I had called home for a ride home from work because my car was broke down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the middle of the afternoon. She's asleep. Nobody else answers their phones. So I end up calling and getting her on the line. And she gets all shitty with me. Like, what do you want? It's like, a ride home from work.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I'll see if, somebody's around. And like, she just, leaves the phone sitting there. Doesn't take it with her or anything. Comes back like 30 seconds later. Everyone's asleep. Click.
Oof.
Yeah, I walked home from work. It's 3-4 miles after working a full 8-hour shift, and I got home and went into the living room. She was asleep on the couch, and I like just hopped from this little landing we had, like little 2-step landing, and I just windmilled my hand around and I slapped her right across the cheek.
Ooh.
And like her eyes snapped open. She's like, "What?" I was like, I just looked down and I pointed my finger right in her face and said, "Don't you ever fucking hang up on me again." No. She waits until I'm, if we have to talk on the phone, she's like, "Are you done?" "Yeah, I'm done." "Okay, bye." Click. I put the fear of God in her that day.
Sounds like it.
Well, I mean, if she had answered the phone like, "Hey, like normal," and didn't just hang up on me, it would have been okay, fine. I would have walked home. It would have sucked, but whatever. But she was just being shitty, so I slapped it right out of her. Sometimes violence is the answer. That's all I'm saying. Not all the time, but sometimes. Well, it is the appropriate response.
Sometimes you just gotta slap a bitch.
I would be no good in an actual fight, so I'm pretty sure I've never actually taken a swing at anyone. But I suppose if my life was on the line, I'd have to at least try.
Yeah, definitely. If your life's on the line, I mean, and my philosophy is if I can avoid a fight, great. If not, hit as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and then run like hell.
Well, my dad said there's two types of fighting. There's fighting for a reason, and fighting because you don't want to get your ass kicked. And he's like, the difference is when you're fighting, when you have something to fight for, you try to keep it fair, and it's like if you're fighting just to keep from getting your ass kicked, do what you got to do. Like,
yeah,
aim low, aim high, go for the eyes, doesn't matter.
I was always taught there's no such thing as a fair fight. You do what you got to do.
well, depending on the situation, sure. If it's like you and your friend just seeing who can, fight the best, then I can say, okay, you'll set some rules so that you don't actually hurt each other. But
Oh yeah, that's just roughhousing. That's fooling around. I mean, like an actual
Yeah.
fight.
oh yeah, if you're in a fight for either like some cause or your life's on the line, or you've got some sort of reason to fight seriously, then yeah, there's no rules.
But yeah, that Nazi girl, I thought that was just hilarious. And then I come back to Twitter and like all the people that are, responding to me, they're like, yeah, I can't see shit. It's like, oh, great, she deleted it. Okay.
I think Twitter should remove the delete option. Just once you put it out there, you're stuck with it forever.
Well, I mean, especially since that's documenting an actual case of assault. That somebody
Yeah.
committed a crime. That needs to be documented.
It's not a crime if it's a woman hitting a man, though. There's a whole different set of rules.
Well, I mean, like seeing that video, like that made me want to like go full Gutenberg and be like, look at these broads. Think if they can actually like throw a punch.
Gutenberg's hilarious. He always cracks me up whenever he's on a stream.
Yeah, the other day listening to him talking about Aborigines, that was hilarious. I was busting the gut.
Yeah, I think he was actually part of the reason I got to go on Monkey's stream, because he kept nagging Monkeys because he wanted to hear my voice. Gutenberg was like, Monkey, have Terry on. He's got the voice of an angel. You got to listen to him talk.
Oh, well, what was hilarious was Adam getting on there the other day. like Sinatra just, he about left smoke trails. He left so fast. He's like, yeah, I gotta go.
Monkey streams are usually while I'm asleep, so I don't get to watch them all that often. But sometimes he'll have one at a strange time, and it'll be sort of like just before I'm about to go to bed, or
I think they're all on at strange times.
well, it's got like generally they're in the morning for him, which means if I go to bed at 11 to 12, then he starts streaming at 12 to 1. I usually don't get to watch him.
Like when he and Bear do breakfast with Bear and then lead into a Monkey stream. I'm usually like at work, so like I listen to that, and that's what gets me through working. The night shift is like, okay, well, I got people talking. I can listen to that while I'm cleaning and doing whatever.
Yeah.
And now that it's starting to get colder here in the States, I actually have more free time. I get less people, less foot traffic into my shop. So,
Okay. People don't want to be outside when it's cold, I guess. So they.
yeah, and like the people that frequent my shop are, well, they're all on welfare, so they don't have any actual money themselves. They just have a government card to swipe. So they're not nearly as invested as going to go get those Doritos and Dr. Peppers at 3 a.m. as when it's warm.
So what kind of shop is it? Just like a convenience
Yeah,
store?
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Which since I work the night shift, I can reject the whole customer is always right paradigm.
Yeah.
Like I had one guy come in a few weeks ago. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and he decided to buy a phone charger cable and car plug-in.
Mm-hmm.
And he got mad because the total came up to like nearly $30.
Yeah.
Which is expensive. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, well, yeah, that seems fair. I just looked at like, dude, it's a convenience store. You're paying extra for the convenience of coming in here at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to buy a phone charger. If you want cheap, go to the 99-cent store. I doubt they're open right now.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Convenience costs money. As I live off convenience, I've become very well acquainted with this concept.
And it's not like, it's definitely not, it's not cheap at all. The markup is astounding usually.
Oh yeah. But that's why you pay extra when you get your pizza delivered to your house instead of getting off your ass and going to get it yourself.
Yeah. And I do like when they pretend that the delivery is free, but they're just charging more for the pizza. Like there's no such thing as free delivery ever. It costs them money to send a guy out to your place. Clearly, they're going to charge you for that. So they just jack up the price of the pizza and go, oh, no, delivery's free. Come on.
Well, I gotta say, as I'm an appliance salesman for my day job, and usually, and if there's anything that's considered a free delivery, it's because you're spending $800 on something. Yeah, and I'm sure us charging you 20 extra bucks for something. It's.
I mean, if there was only one pizza place I ever ordered from, I might fall for it. But I've seen the ones that charge for delivery, and I've seen the ones that don't. And by some mysterious coincidence, the ones that don't charge for delivery have raised the price of their pizzas by almost exactly the cost of delivery at the other place.
Yeah, somehow it's almost the same price.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, what I like about my job is that, aside from being like a janitor, a cashier, I'm also like a bouncer. I'm the only one that works there at night, and I work right next to a housing project, pretty much. So, like, these people, they'll come in at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a couple of them that tried to come in and buy booze at like 5:30 in the morning, which is a no-no.
Yeah, that's.
From the hours of 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., there's no selling of alcohol in Oklahoma.
Oh, you got 6?
The law, or?
Yeah, that's the law.
Okay.
Ours is.
Say what?
Ours is 8.
Oh, from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m.?
Yeah. That's why most of the bars here open at 8.
Well, Oklahoma is like Pennsylvania for Gutenberg. Like, we just got it to where we start selling like High Point beer in convenience stores. You used to have to go to a liquor store to get those, and those close at 9 p.m. But so like everyone on the 1st of October when that went into effect they were waiting for midnight, October 1st. It's like they never bought beer before. It's like you've always been able to buy High Point beer in Oklahoma. You just had to go to a liquor store. Like the novelty of just getting it at a convenience store is not that great, people. But you would have thought it was like Black Friday in my neighborhood. And
what's the reason for the law? Have they explained why those particular hours you're not allowed to sell alcohol?
Well, last call the bars is like 1:45, and the bars all close at 2. So the idea is that if you haven't got all your drinking done, or if you haven't planned for yeah, hey, I'm getting off work at 1 a.m. I can't really go to the bar and cut loose in an hour. You know, plan better. You know, plan accordingly. You know, get your stuff before 2 a.m. You know, be responsible. Be an adult. If you can't figure out a way to buy your booze in a 20-hour window, I really can't help you. I don't know what to do for you.
And there's some bars that even sell you bottles.
But
This year they do.
I think asking people to take responsibility counts as hate speech these days.
well, I'm in a minority, so I can get away with it.
Fair enough.
I can pull the race card. But no, I had to bounce these two dudes about a month ago because like they came in drunk 5:30 in the morning trying to buy booze, and then when they realized that I wasn't gonna sell it to them, they decided to go get some snack food and whatnot. Came up there and went to pay with a food stamp card for like $6 worth of chips and snack cakes. It got declined. They didn't even have $6 in free money.
Oh, Jesus.
And the one dude tried to argue with me. He's like, man, I got like $10 on this card. I was like, no, you don't. Otherwise, that machine would have spit out a receipt. And while I'm sitting there telling him, like, you don't have any money to pay for this stuff that you're trying to buy, the drunker one just went ahead, opened his bag of Cheetos right in front of me and started eating them.
Checkmate.
Well, what they didn't realize was like I had like a sinus infection for the previous 2 weeks, and I had just started like my antibiotics and steroid treatment for it. And the steroids make it to where you want to eat everything in sight and you don't want to go to sleep. So I only had like a 2-hour nap before going to work that night, and I was hungry, I was sick, I was tired, I was not happy. Yeah, I was not in the mood for their bullshit, and I went off on them because I'd had dealings with them before, and they're just bums.
Yeah, from the sounds of it.
So, like, I looked at him, and as soon as I saw him, like, pawing into this bag of Cheetos and just scooping it into his mouth, I was like, "Get the fuck out!" And they're like, "What?" I was like, "You heard me." I said, "Get the fuck out of my store right now." Like, why you being like this, dog? I was like, "Cause you're both fucking drunk and you ain't got no goddamn money. Get the fuck out of my store."
And they just stole from you.
But yeah, like they left. And they came back like a half hour later, right at like the shift change. I guess they figured I wouldn't, I'd already be gone.
Yeah.
And as soon as I tried to walk in, I was like, "Get out!" But yeah, those dudes got banned from the store.
I don't blame you.
And but like they still try to come back. It's hilarious. It's like, you guys can't be this stupid.
Are you the only convenience store in the area? Is there a reason that they can't go somewhere else?
We're like we're like the length of a football field or a soccer pitch or whatever from this housing complex, this low income housing complex. So yeah, it's literally the easiest place for them to go and dick around.
Okay.
Like the next nearest one is a couple miles away, and they close at midnight.
Right.
And then there's another one a few miles in the opposite direction. And
So,
these guys they don't have any money. They don't have any vehicle. They can't afford to get around except for the Heel Toe Express. So, but yeah, I had one girl who she came in a few nights ago. She looked like a meth head.
Oh, even better.
Like a meth head that got hit in the face with a shovel. Like if Little Nicky was riding the white pony. And so she came in, looking like that, wearing a hoodie, short shorts, garter belts, and stockings. I did not realize that hookers had a casual Friday, but apparently they do.
I would say someone was auditioning for Starfire, weren't they?
That could be it.
No, she was a redhead too. I mean, yeah, I guess that could have been like a white trash cosplay. But sometimes it's hard for me to not say something because I'm supposed to be quote unquote customer service.
Professionalism.
I lack it. I really do. But there's a couple of them that came in last week, and it was almost a similar situation to the drunk guys, except these people were stone cold sober. And this dude's waiting on his girlfriend and Trailer Park Starfire to collect the rest of their stuff. And he's got a bottle of water. He's just sitting there waiting on him, and then he finally like cracks it open and starts drinking from it right in front of me. And I just looked and was like, people generally pay for their shit before they start, eating and drinking it.
That convention is oppressive.
No, it's not. It was a white guy. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He was totally in the wrong. But
most people ask though, like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this. You mind if I just open this now?"
Well, I mean, if it was like if it was like some dude or a dude or woman who fairly decently dressed, looked like they had money, I probably wouldn't have been just like, hey man, pay for your shit. Maybe I would have. I don't know, but like, hey man, you look like you can afford it. Fucking fork it over.
Yeah.
Well, to me, how long does it possibly take to get to the cash register to buy the thing before you eat it? You're going to wait an extra few minutes before you get to eat the thing that you want.
Oh no, dude! This is a gas station, and these people shop. They actually take their time and they look around, the aisles.
Oh, okay.
They look at the DVD racks. It's like, man, you ain't got no money. You ain't paying $9.99 for, the accountant. You are not that big of a Ben Affleck fan. Come on. But
hopefully no one is.
Well, I mean,
I was in that movie.
I still haven't seen it. That's on my watch list. So
it's somewhat off-putting. Without giving too much away, to have an autistic assassin is kind of different.
Yeah, that's the closest you can get to a Terminator in this day and age, isn't it? You got to imagine a Spurg wouldn't stop until the job was done.
Yeah, and I mean he's got the mannerisms down. So like,
what if Ben Affleck is the greatest actor of all time? He's an autist who's been pretending to be normal.
That could be. That's a very good theory.
He just like, I'm gonna go ahead and just be me for this movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched movies in ages. Like, I don't even know what movies are around these days.
yeah,
mostly superhero movies, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Or some offshoot of the type.
Too caught up in my Steam backlog. Haven't been to the movies or watched. Like, I don't even have a Netflix account, and I wouldn't have time to watch that on top of watching YouTube and playing video games.
Yeah, at this point, I mostly just I mostly do the same. I listen to live streams. I catch people's videos when they put them out, and play a few video games on my PC. That's pretty much it. It drives my girlfriend crazy though, because she wants cable for some ungodly reason.
Well,
I've determined that I will drag her
cable and just give it to her and say, I don't know what you wanted this for, but
I'm determined to drag her, kicking and screaming into the 21st century.
Yeah, cut that cord.
A noble goal.
But
luck in your endeavor.
oh yeah, it's like you can watch all this stuff on a computer now, right? But I want to watch it on TV. It's like you can have a TV connected to the computer, to the internet.
I mean, my TV is sitting unplugged in what used to be my dad's room. It's just I've got no use for it.
The only thing the TV is pretty much good for now, at least as far as cable, would be news and sports.
Yeah, I think
even they're getting to that cord cutting also.
Well, I mean, the only thing I could really think of would be like a sports wise, would be like pay-per-view sports, like UFC, boxing, something like that. That's the only justification I can see for cable at this point. Well, I think you could probably get that online now too.
Actually, they have something on. I know that they had it on the PlayStation for a while, where you can order pay-per-view events through the PlayStation Network.
And you don't need to watch the news because you can just watch Lords of the Night. Problem solved.
That's my morning news show. That's my Good Morning America right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
I watch that when I wake up, or I listen to that while I'm getting ready for work. I'll listen to the Minions while I'm at work. Turn around, catch Breakfast with Bear, and then Monkey in the morning.
And then I catch the occasional Dire Wolf and go from that.
So there you go. The news is redundant. We have alternative sources.
Unfortunately, though, the only thing I can really think of is like local news. Because Oklahoma, we really only have like the two major TV stations, 2 or 3. I think it was ABC, CBS, and Fox, local affiliates. And only have like 2 major newspapers, so it's not really hard to keep up with what's going on in Oklahoma. It's fairly easy.
Yeah. If it's not important enough for Twitter to tell me about it, then I don't care. That's my standard. So if Twitter tells me about it, then okay. If it doesn't, then it's not important.
Well, and even then, some of the stuff that even Twitter tells me is like, why are you telling me this?
Oh, yeah, that's 90% of Twitter. But anything that makes the rounds on Twitter, I'll pay attention to. If it's not even worthy of Twitter's attention, then I don't care. It's beneath me.
Oh, well, like for me, like it seems like hardly anybody in my area uses Twitter. So like when I start telling people what I'm seeing on there, they look at me like, what?
Oh, wow.
It's like I'm trying to think of a good analogy for for it. But like every time I say it's like, oh well, I'm not on Facebook. You're not on Facebook? No. Like I'm on Twitter. It's like, really? I think I had a Twitter once, but people never used it.
Yeah.
I can't give them too much shit though. I'm a really late adopter. I've only had Twitter for like a year and a half now.
I only have Twitter because of Monkey. I wanted to submit something to MSS News, and he said do it on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I got started too. And then I went ahead and got a Discord, set up because Bear, kept saying, "Hey, join my Discord." All right, let's see what this is about. That's the only 2 forms of social media I have.
Yeah, I didn't like Discord. I don't know why. I can't get into it.
I pop in from time to time, just see what's going on.
I only use it to get the link to the Minions, and because some people put Jackbox room codes on Discord rather than in chat, so not just anyone can join the game. Those are the 2 reasons I use Discord.
I just kind of chat with people from time to time, and it seems like a good aggregator for memes as well. Anything I miss on my timeline on Twitter, I can generally find it in somebody's meme room for Discord.
Plus, there's NSFW rooms, and those are always fun.
They're always interesting. That's for damn sure. Some things I would rather forget. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like anything that Suit Yourself posts.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, there's not enough bleach in the world for my eyeballs.
There's not enough bleach in the world for anyone's brain.
Yeah, you've got a talent for finding that stuff.
And the sick part is, it's like he posts it, and you're like, "Oh, this can't be bad." Click. Oh my God, it burns.
So you have to click. Apparently, I don't get that option. It's like I'm just scrolling along, and next thing I know, it's like there's a 500-pound chick, spreading her ass cheeks or something. Ugh.
And I wonder if Suit Yourself actually enjoys those pictures, or if he just doing it to be a dick.
I think my personal opinion is that he gets the same rush out of it that we used to get in high school telling dead baby jokes. It wasn't the actual joke was funny; it was the person's reaction when you told them that disgusting shit that made you laugh.
Like there's been a few jokes that I've told, and I'm just like, oh, okay, let me recover from that, and then I'll start laughing.
When I was in high school, the debate team they had computer access during class for their debate classes, and so they would just look up like dead baby jokes and racist jokes and everything that was completely off limits.
Yeah. I think that's what Shio does. He just does an online joke book and just copies and pastes into Super Chat.
Oh yeah, like that's what got me started actually. Like in the chat was seeing him, getting those jokes read. I was like, dude, I heard that like 15 years ago. Come on now.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I heard that one.
Well, none of his jokes are original, but they're still funny.
They definitely are. But it's like I heard like 3 or 4 in a row. I was like, all right, I got one. I'm like 2 can play at this game, but he just keeps going.
Yeah. I actually suggested at one point that I'm not going to read that Shio be included as part of the monkey dick routine. It's like, I'm not going to read that Shio.
I'd read a Shio Gorath joke.
Oh yeah, I would too. But then again, this isn't my job.
That's very true.
Yes, I mean, but I think I said in chat one time, I was like, I always knew if Monkey was reading something that I put in chat because it would be preceded by "Oh my God" or "That's not nice."
Yeah,
I was like, "Yep, that's me."
Yeah, I still like. I'm trying to. When people get on that, like the stream kick, where like your boy Pat will post something.
Oh yeah, backhand that like button.
Backhand like button, and then I'm just like, all right, I gotta come up with something equal. And so I'm like, I'll come up with a spousal abuse joke, and then just I'll take like the one I have planned is hit that like button like Jack Nicholson uses a 2-iron.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of spousal abuse, that was actually like I had customers come in like shortly after I started this job. There was a couple, a guy and a girl, and the chick did have a black eye. And I literally was like, all right, I got to ask, right? She's like, the eye? I was like, yeah. What'd you do? And she's like, oh, well, I ran into a door. It's like, yeah, likely story. Okay. I was like, you say to a woman with 2 black eyes, right? She goes, no, what? I was like, nothing. You done told her twice.
You done told her twice. That's what.
Yeah. Which apparently, is a 18, 19-year-old girl, 20-something-year-old guy. They'd never heard that one.
Jeez.
And so, like, for a second, she didn't know what to say. It's like, Oh, okay, that's kind of funny, I guess.
Welcome to the group, Irate.
Hey, man, what's up, guys?
Hey, all right.
Hello. Yeah, I have a hard time every time Uzi like gets hurt or some shit, and we have to go to the ER. They always like take me out of the room and ask her if there's anything she wants to tell them. You know, they can't come out outright and ask her if I'm like abusing her or anything, right? And there's a size you can tell. There's I'm a bigger dude, and she's she's not petite, but she's smaller and shit. And I mean, inevitably, it always happens every time. And she like gets hurt a lot. Like she goes running and shit, fucks her knee up, and I mean, shit like that. It's like, okay, how am I going to break a girl's knee? But it's neither.
Well, you could have given her the old Tanya Harding.
Yeah, I guess like I come in and I have an ornery expression on my face or something. I don't know. I don't think I look mean. Whatever. It's funny every time.
Apparently, I look mean too because I get customers will come in. They're like, why don't you smile more? It's like my favorite one is is everything okay? Something wrong?
Right.
And just like, yeah. Why? You look upset. That's just my face, bitch. Why don't you mind your own fucking business?
The old smell the fart face.
And feminists claim that women are the only ones who get told to smile more.
Oh yeah. I love that one. I've been told that.
Yeah.
A long time. It's like my favorite one is it's like, oh, you should smile more. Why don't you smile? It's like, I'll smile if I got a reason to. You know who smiles for no reason? Morons and lunatics, bitch.
I'll start smiling when someone starts sucking on my dick.
That's a reason to smile.
Clamp down, yep. That's for sure.
Good old mouth hug.
Plant those two lips.
So what's everybody up to, man?
Just shooting the shit, really. It's my Friday today, so I'm kind of staying up late. Normally, I'd be asleep right about now.
I'm planning my overnight Stanley in memoriam movie marathon.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's like when usually when there's someone who passes away, I'll spend an entire night watching just a list of their movies.
Well, and all right, I'm starting to see these people like respond. Who was it that said he was a racist or some shit?
Everyone,
because I mean they have got that shit all wrong, man.
Everybody who lacks a brainstem, pretty much.
Well, and that shit,
Twitter.
That shit's inevitable with anyone who passes away. Like it's always afterwards.
Yeah, he was pretty like left leaning, kind of, center left, liberal. Pretty much if you read the old shit, from the 60s, they were doing groundbreaking shit. I mean, the X-Men is all about racism. I just still don't get it, man.
Yeah,
because I was as a young kid reading these comics, I was getting the messages.
It was the same story of like the civil rights movement of the 60s.
Mm-hmm. It was a metaphor. Yeah, absolutely. And then was it North Star was the first gay, openly gay character of Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, I believe, is when he came out. And let's see, who else? What else?
I think Jack and Polly were talking about last night on Minions. I think that was early. I think that was the 90s, actually.
Was it the 90s?
I think that's what they were saying last night.
I can't remember when he came out, but yeah, it was. I was working in a comic shop at that point, so yeah, no, it was definitely. Let me look. Right, North Star.
Because I think they also mentioned like they had like the first gay wedding in a comic book in like 2012.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the grandfather figure of America today. Stan Lee, fought in World War II. Created a bunch of the characters that multiple generations grew up with. And you can't even wait 30 minutes after it's announced that he's dead to start shitting on him.
Right.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, Alpha Flight 106. It was 1992.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, there was.
I've got it somewhere around here.
I think it was a tweet by Roaming Millennial. She asked if who we'd like to have her see interviewed on her Uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
And Fat Pat goes Stan Lee. And this guy's like, oh wow, edgy, almost a whole day. You think you could? Did you think about that one for a while, or pop open Google News and copy paste the first name you recognize? And he just goes, yes. And I just go, well, I laughed. Like, I mean,
well, I mean that would be an impressive get for her if she could pull that one off. I mean,
because yeah, I mean, like, it's not like anything offensive. I mean, it's just it's in the news, so like,
yeah.
And then to someone take it, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading it the way it's just the way it's written, because you don't get that context. But yeah, I mean, to get seemingly butthurt just because you mentioned Stan Lee's name is ridiculous.
Well, people want to be offended these days. They actively seek out things to be offended by. So they probably just saw their opportunity and pounced.
I'm just curious, they always say stuff like this happens in threes. So who y'all got in the Deadpool? Who's next?
God. Shit, I have no idea.
Because
well, it have to be someone everyone likes.
I think it's gonna be a surprise.
I hate to put it out there, but come on, Betty White. She's like what, 93, 94? Everybody loves Betty White, left, right, and center. So, I mean, it seems like it would be fitting that 2018, be the shit show year.
So is Stan the first one? Is Stanley the first one? You think?
I think so. I don't think of anybody else.
They always come in threes, right?
Yeah.
And so, all right, Betty White. And then there's like, I got a feeling, man, we're due for like some surprise, like what the fuck kind of, like a Heath Ledger-ish kind of thing. We haven't had anything like that probably since what, Tom Petty? Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that one.
Somebody OD or some shit, get hit by a car. You remember Yeltsin?
Anton Yelchin. Yelchin.
Yeah, Yeltsin. That's his name.
That's the kind of death I wouldn't wish on anyone. No shit. His sounded way fucking worse than when you read it.
Well, like when I read that one, I was like, that dude's like a month younger than me. Holy
he looked
shit.
like he was 15 years old. I mean,
or Randy Savage's. Like, he had a heart attack and then slammed into a tree. Like, if that's not someone wanting you dead, I don't know what is.
But the Yelchin one that got me. It's like, dude, your parents escaped, Soviet Russia, came over here, had a good life, raised you, you got rich, famous, and then you get run over by your own damn car.
Yeah,
damn,
crushed. It's like horrible fucking way to go, man.
And it was like idle speed.
And it just rolled over him. Yeah,
didn't it pop out of? It popped out of neutral. I mean, out of gear. Or the brakes just popped out, and because it was a handbrake, right? It was in neutral, and it just rolled and pinned him, and just that's horrible.
Well, I said on Lords of the Night last night in chat, I was like, the way I want to go is I want to die in bed at 90 years old, shot by a jealous husband.
That's Ronnie. Ronnie Van Zant said that.
That was Ronnie Van Zant?
Yeah, man.
My dad always used that one, and
Yeah.
it just stuck with me. I was like, yeah, that does seem like the way you want to go.
Exactly. Shot by a jealous husband. I was trying to think. Yeah. You like Yelchin? Man, there's a great movie that just came out on Netflix called The Green Room.
Oh yeah,
that he's in, and that is a great movie, man. You guys need to see that. I recommend it, and it shows you how good an actor he is. You know, he was. It's a sad loss. So yeah, but it's a good movie if you're into tension, and cringy box cutters.
Mhm.
Dude. Yeah.
Might have to check that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's either being shot by a jealous husband or like Richard Pryor's dad went, just middle of sex. Yeah. He came and went at the same time.
Yeah. Train good, man.
Let's see.
It looks like most of the stupid shit this week was reserved for yesterday because I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm not seeing anything horrible yet.
I'm looking through a celebrity death list. Wow, they haven't even updated the show Stanley yet.
Oh. Sad. When is his eulogy and all that shit? Has anything come out about the plans on that?
It'll probably be end of the week, sometime maybe next week before the funeral, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, California's on fire right now, so.
Well, depending on how observant he was as a Jew, he actually has to be buried within 3 days.
True.
According to tradition. So, yeah, it depends. I just don't see that whole racist bullshit, man. I mean, right? Because, dude, all those guys, Kirby, Frazetta. I mean, that whole bunch. Now, sexist. I mean, who wants to look at at some frumpy looking lesbian? It's like Frazetta knew what a woman looked like. You know what I'm saying? And so I can give maybe the cringy blue hairs, that one, maybe being a little bit sexist, but short hair and flat chests aren't going to sell comic books now, are they?
No.
No,
and I think from what they said when he was, he was a sex assaulter. Unless if you go through the nurses that he was that he hired to have take care of him, apparently they haven't worked in the nursing field for very long. Because I've seen old men talk to young women in nursing homes, and it can be pretty raunchy at times, but they're 90. These are 95 to 100-year-old guys.
Yeah, these dudes are all on their way out. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure the chicks are thinking, if I play my cards right, we can get married and he'll drop dead anyway, and I'll get all of his money, right? So it's a win-win, man.
You get your Anna Nicole Smith types.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And that still wasn't enough for her. But I bet there's a couple of trophy wives that played it right there,
Well, and didn't his wife just pass away too?
That's a good question. I think she passed away, within the past couple of years.
Well, yeah. I mean, like what? His kids were old enough to be her parents. I think his oldest was probably old enough to be maybe like a young grandparent.
She died in July 2017. Joan B. Lee was a British American model and voice actress. She is the wife of Stan Lee, who she met in New York City in the 40s while working as a hat model. In her later years, so they stayed married from 1947 to 2017.
Which is something, because it started as like she left her husband for Stan. If I remember my A&E biography correctly.
So this would have been right after the war. So I wonder if he was stationed in England and he met her there. And then, a couple of years later, they bump into each other and it's like, oh, hey, and then, a year later, they're married. Oh, man, we're talking about this last night, kind of how true love, or, it was Sunday with Gap Talk, how there's like these people, and it's not necessarily like a love interest or anything, but there's certain people that just keep crisscrossing your path, even though your paths are very divergent. And you keep, like running into these specific people in your life. And, and why is that? I just kind of like as the way to maybe, gauge your progress and maybe give you a chance to look at yourself and contrast, where you were from the last time y'all met. Have any of y'all kind of encountered anybody like that in your life?
Not for me, no.
No, not really, not yet.
So none of you guys?
Yeah, no.
No.
I don't go outside, so that's a contributing factor.
All right, who's the oldest? All right, I know I'm the oldest here, but how old are you guys? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 38.
All right, 38.
I'm also 38.
Okay.
I'm a few months shy from 30.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So I got it.
But
no, I'm 37. Never mind.
When's your birthday?
February 2020. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was born 2 years ago. Whatever. No, 81.
Yeah, that's a ticket.
I only recently turned 38, so I've only been 38 for 4 days. So
well, happy birthday, dude! Shit.
But yeah, it was if you'd asked me last week, I would have said 37.
And that would have been an answer.
I've gotten to the point where I just round up.
All right, so Joan, his wife, was 95 when she died. And
pretty decent life.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. When you're connected like that, man, there's no way, you bounce back. It's like you meet that love of your life and then you lose her or him or something, whatever. And you're never going to replace it.
That's like a Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And like what she died and he kicked off like 6 months later.
Yeah, and fucking George Jones and Tammy Wynette. Good. Yeah, I mean it's almost like that whole country music thing. It was like bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. It's like, are they married? Well, it's like, what day is it?
And it's a different type of relationship. But my dad went about 2 months after my grandmother did, because looking after my grandmother was kind of the only purpose he had in his life, because he was sick and he wanted the end, but he was like, no, I've got to stay alive to look after my mother. And then when my grandmother passed, I think he kind of just gave up. He said, well, okay, I've got nothing left keeping me here. So he just let it happen, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 months later, he was gone. I think, yeah, if someone becomes like the focal point of your life, and if you've been married to someone for 50 years, that's going to happen. Once you lose them, Yeah, I can see you kind of just let it happen psychologically, even if it's not a deliberate choice.
I'm trying desperately to find something that isn't as depressing.
Yeah. I just did a little happy birthday thing for Terry. I was playing on my screen, and that was about it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just tweeted out your little stream.
have you played any good video games? There you go. That's a more positive topic.
I have been stuck on Red Dead Redemption for a while.
Fair enough. I think
when
it's a
I'm
common-
off of work.
Yeah.
Here lately, I've been trying to play Smite a bit because Hammer had been talking about it, and I get my ass kicked. So I'm probably just gonna go back to my my turn-based strategy games.
Yeah. Smite breaks my no other people allowed rule. I only do single player.
Well, like I only started playing PC games really here the past year or so. Before that, I was a console kid growing up.
Right.
And,
I was not just a console. I was Nintendo only, and I would get mad if you played Sega. Like that. That's how.
oh man,
that's how
I
silly
played
was
them
as a
all.
kid.
I played them all. I started off with my mom's Atari when I was a little kid.
Yeah. I mean, I
And-
started off with an Atari too, but once I got the NES, it was just nope. Nintendo is the only correct choice.
Mine was a PlayStation. I enjoyed playing like the PS2 and the PS3 above Xbox or even Nintendo. But like I was nerdy enough that growing up that I played video games, but I was still kind of a jock. So like all my video games were like sports titles, Madden, college football, NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Stuff that had a ton of replay value, so that way if I couldn't afford to buy the next one in the series, I could just keep playing that one.
Yeah.
Tecmo Super Bowl was my thing, and that's as elementary as football as you can get.
Well,
Yeah.
I like playing college football because that's pretty much the only way that my Cowboys are ever going to win a national championship. So,
Man, I remember back in the day when they were excellent, when they were great.
oh no, Oklahoma State Cowboys, not Dallas.
Oh, yeah, the Cowboys. Yeah, man.
yeah, the Pokes.
You're talking about actual football, college football.
Yeah. Like that's why I like the Longest Yard is one of my favorite movies, like Burt Reynolds movies.
Oh man,
They had that line in there where he's going around recruiting all the convicts to play against the guards, and they get this
Right.
the one big Indian. He's like, "Yeah, you ever play any ball?" They're like, "Yeah, Oklahoma State." He's like, "University, penitentiary."
that's a great movie, man. I didn't like the Adam Sandler remake because they didn't capture the feel that the original did, man.
No,
They kind of had that kind of Porky's kind of formula that they threw into it.
my favorite part of the Adam Sandler one was all the pro wrestlers they had in it.
Maybe, yeah.
Goldberg, Stone Cold, Kevin Nash, the Great Khali.
See, at that point, I wasn't into wrestling, man. I missed the great era of wrestling.
I gotta say, Kevin Nash does a great comic relief.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He was phenomenally hilarious in that,
Like,
especially after they did the whole the steroid swap,
oh yeah, the
and
estrogen.
they switched it with estrogen. Yeah, I'll cry with you.
Like, I was a big Goldberg fan growing up as a kid because he's from Tulsa originally, and I'm a homer like nobody's business. But
What does that mean? See, people don't know what you're talking about. Tell them what that means.
Like anybody from my home state, like, all right, you're cool in my book.
Right.
Like, like Gary Busey went to OSU, before he got all crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's from Texas originally, but he went to OSU. James Marsden.
Before he went.
I thought you said LSU. Yeah, LSU makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. James Marsden. He went to Oklahoma State.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Ed Harris. He went to University of Oklahoma. James Gardner. There's a whole bunch of famous people who are from Oklahoma originally, but everyone just thinks of us because of that goddamn musical.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
Oh yeah, and that fucking sucks too, man. Like like it just started finally getting cold like this week.
God, it feels great.
The one thing about Oklahoma is everyone loves bitching about the weather. And so, like, I work in customer service. People coming in, all hours of the night, like, man, it's cold out there. Like, no shit. You know how many people have told me that already tonight? Tell me something I don't know. All right. But it's either it's either it's too cold. I hate the cold, or God damn, it's hot. There is no in between here.
Man, the Joe Camel face does look like a set of dick and balls. It really does.
Kind of, yeah.
The more I look at it, I'm like, oh fuck, I do see it, man. Because back in the day when they were talking about that, I was like, going, I couldn't see it, but now, yeah, definitely got a Tyler Durden kind of thing going on there.
Yeah. Well, I picked this one originally because like I do smoke Camels, and
that's right.
But I figured, eventually I'd switch it over because there's one, it's like the anti-smoking propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of Joe Camel, it's Joe Chemo. So I figure when, YouTube and Twitter gives me enough cancer, I'll switch it over to that, and you'll know that I've thrown in the towel.
Does he really exist, man? Because you could make a shitload of money off of that.
What, Joe Chemo?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've actually got it in a folder somewhere. Like it's got him, like he's got like the IV drip, and he's wearing.
You need to roll that shit out, man. Do it, man. That's great. That's brilliant.
I found it on just a simple Google image search. It's already out there, but
let me see something.
And to get someone, one of the artists you can find a commission want something for you.
Yeah, I figured. I don't know. I maybe if I ever were to learn how to make videos or something, maybe I could make like a joke video, have an artist commissioned, like Communist Joe or something. And because I've got the Uncle Sam Camel Joe here. And do
so you're gonna make a
counterpoint? I don't know.
Communist Joe is gonna look more like a fucking soy boy with the man bun and shit.
I was thinking like full on like Stalin, like the mustache and everything.
Yeah, but that's not accurate. Today's communist looks a lot different than that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unless you want to do a revival, let's bring back the regular communism.
Communism 2.0.
I'm pretty sure Stalin would bitch slap all these dudes these days, who are quote unquote communists.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, exactly. It would be like, look, I really want it to be a socialist state, but I gotta have Starbucks. Can we have Starbucks? Well,
go ahead.
Well,
it's like when I was listening to the Lords of the Night one night, they were talking to Satsu was talking about the Boondocks.
And the TV show?
Yeah.
And they had one where like Martin Luther King woke up from a coma.
Yeah. He was in a coma. But he didn't die from the assassination attempt.
And he came back and he just starts reading everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I won't be with you when you get to the promised land. I'm going to Canada.
Did you see the FDA plans to eradicate or to ban menthol cigarettes?
Oh yeah, and I'm pissed because that's what I smoke.
Yeah, well, menthols were like specifically marketed to black people I mean, there was a huge, strong push, especially Newports in the late 80s, early 90s, towards, there would be jazz festivals and shit. I mean, it was really racist kind of thinking if you think about it. But it targeted black people because they weren't selling a lot of them, right? So, and I don't know what the deal is about that market, but they made, I mean, because I remember when Newports were like, nobody smoked them, black or white, right? And then 2 years later, everybody I knew that was, that I was working with or some shit that was black, they were all smoking them, man. And I'm like,
Newports or Cools, one of the two.
yeah. Cool. Now, Cools, man, I like the good, a good Cool. I used to smoke. I smoked Marlboro menthols for a while. You talk about a strong fucking.
I was a non-filtered basic light 100.
Oh man!
When I was a kid.
That's right.
And then I stole them from my stepdad, and I didn't realize that he counted his cigarettes.
Oh, who does that?
Oh, if I had a kid, I damn sure would.
Oh, he's extremely anal about a lot of shit. Like we were at each other's throats constantly. And coincidentally, out of the 2 packs that I could have, because there was the basic lights that my mom, my mom would smoke the filtered.
So you chose unwisely. You picked the wrong pack to steal from.
Yep. There's butt cheeks in the chat.
There also, it looks like San Francisco's already, where is that? Fuck. They've also banned e-cigarettes, flavored e-cigarettes.
Well, like here in Oklahoma, like I was smoking Camels for the longest time. That's why I chose the Avatar and everything. But I've switched over to like an off brand of Marlboro called L&M's because they're raising the taxes.
Yeah.
They've been raising the taxes all year on cigarettes. And so like a pack of Marlboro Reds costs like over $7 now.
Holy shit. God damn.
Yeah, we were talking about that in our last stream actually.
And it's really funny because like there's this one dude who came into my store and he saw the prices for all the cigarettes. He's like, I got a buddy in Missouri who can buy like Marlboro Reds for it's like $4 or something. Some really low price compared to what we've got. I said, yeah, you know why that is? They keep voting down raising the taxes. They have the lowest cigarette tax in the country. Like I'm seriously considering like saving up a little bit of gas money and just start bootlegging my own smokes back in.
Actually, technically, that's called buttlegging. And for a while in the 70s, they made it illegal because of some shit with the taxes. Dude, I remember when cigarettes were 35 cents a pack.
Yeah, like
a kid. Yeah.
I one of my favorite movies to watch, like summertime movies, is Dazed and Confused, and that part always pisses me off when you see him going into the convenience store and it says like cigarettes 69 cents a pack.
Yep. It's
like I'm paying $6. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. And a lot of it is tax. That was the Clinton. You saw that like huge cigarette tax was added and gas tax actually in the Clinton administration. One of the ways he balanced the budget, besides gutting the military. Thanks, Billy. No power, my power to you, man.
But like, I went to a spring break in Daytona Beach when I was in college, and I ran out of cigarettes like a couple days in. I was going to be there for a week. And I went down to the the corner store from my hotel to buy a carton, and it was like $60. And back then, like my Camel Wide menthols were only like 40 something. Buying from the tribe, because they didn't have to pay like the sales tax or whatever, the state tax, if you go through the Indians. And I looked at this poor little Cuban woman standing behind the register. I was like, if we had these prices in Oklahoma, there'd be a fucking riot in the streets. And I come back and they started raising the taxes. So, like, the moral of the story is I should have kept my fucking mouth shut.
Oh shit, I feel you.
But yeah, that poor little lady, she didn't know what to do because I'm 6'2", 200 plus pounds, and I was pissed. I was like, $60? Are you fucking kidding me?
For a carton of smokes, man.
I was like, yeah, that's ridiculous, lady.
It's like they were like $3 a pack when I quit. Yeah, because what I did was I quit like a couple months before buying them, and I was rolling my own. I even had a roller and shit, man. And I could roll some good smokes, man. I could actually roll some in drum, that bugler. It was bugler tobacco. That's, if this is really getting really expensive, that's something you might want to look at, dude. It's just roll your own.
Yeah, I like having the filter though. I've tried like the tubes
They're
like those little stuffing machines they've got. I always either get it too loose or I get it packed too much and end up ripping the paper.
It's hard, man. It's hard to gauge it, man. Yeah, my old man had a bunch of those. Had one of those when back in the '70s during the energy crisis and all that stuff. I would play with it and shit. It's like.
I guess one of these days I'm just going to man up and go like filterless.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That was worth it quitting. I'm glad I quit. To look at how much that shit's costing now, I don't think we could fucking afford it.
I know I should. Intellectually, I know it would be better for my health to quit smoking. But at this point, I'm seeing all these kids around me fucking vaping, and I'm just doing it out of spite.
That's really the only reason to keep smoking is to fucking flip those motherfuckers off. I can't stand vaping.
Yeah, because they've got all those different flavors. It's like I'm smelling cotton candy and fucking popcorn and all this other shit. It's like, oh man, that smells good. Like, where's the food at?
Some faggot.
Yeah, it's just some dickhead 19-year-old who's just blowing a cloud of smoke, water vapor.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what, man? In 15 years, it's gonna be like, well, it turns out that was just as deadly as fucking smoking.
Like how many stories have there been already of like those things blowing up in somebody's pocket and like nearly burning a dude's dick off?
Right, and then there's that exactly.
Well, then, and those are the people who try to mod their vape pens.
Yeah, well, I mean, say what you want about emphysema or cancer. Cigarettes have never fucking spontaneously combusted before. So that's for me, that's a check, on their side.
What about, and then when they made them self-extinguishing, when they put that stuff on the in the glue?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, man, the cigarette started tasting like. See, that's one of the reasons I started rolling my own. Was when they flipped that stuff, man. It was like I could tell there was something fucked up about that flavor. There's some kind of chemical in it, man. I said, fuck that shit.
My uncle was a pipe smoker. And like I loved the smell of his tobacco.
Yeah, really good, rich, real tobacco and shit.
Yeah. Like it was very like it was almost like when you burn a specific type of wood, how it's kind of got that earthy type smell to it.
Yes.
It was really it was one of those scents that I miss when I was like back from back when I was a kid.
Dude,
so like
Jonesing for that shit.
With like the vaping, like the people who's like, oh well, I'm just using it to quit smoking. Eventually, I'm gonna quit doing this too. It's like, well, then why don't you just quit cold turkey? It's like you're kind of telling me you want to have your cake and eat it too,
right?
Well, pick a lane and stick with it.
Well, I had to have both of my hips replaced, right? And so I get my left hip replaced first. And I'm smoking, and I'm sitting there, and I noticed I had more trouble healing. All right, and then when I had my other hip replaced, which was a couple months later, right? I quit smoking. I came out of the hospital, and I didn't smoke a cigarette after that, right? And I noticed my leg healed faster and better, and all these benefits, started automatically, hitting. Food tasted better. Sex got more intense. I think it has something to do with oxygen. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Because all that like the carbon monoxide in the cigarettes, it attaches to the hemoglobin in the red blood cells.
Right.
It doesn't allow you to transport as much oxygen to your muscles and everything.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I know intellectually I should quit smoking. I just don't want to. You know, I used to joke this, like I started smoking because I wanted to commit suicide, but I'm also a procrastinator. You know, so I just picked the slowest, you know, the slowest form I could find.
No shit. Well, it's like Johnny was saying, convenience and stuff. What I would do is I would sit and I would, like, you know, like when I was watching a show, a program or something, I'd roll me a cigarette and then, you know, fire it up, and I had my roller, and I would just take a, you know, I'd have a bit like a bowl full of tobacco and like a little thing to put the cigarettes in, and I would like be, you know, rolling them like a machine, and like boom, boom, and I could roll like 40 cigarettes in a 30-minute, you know, program. Because if you know, you figure out, you can gauge how much after a while to put in it, and you lick it, and boom, boom, and they were a little bit fatter than normal cigarettes too. They're really good, but I will not smoke them anymore. I just, you know, I don't want to open that Pandora's box again.
Yeah, like my grandfather, he was a pipe smoker like Johnny's uncle, and he quit cold turkey. You know, Prince Albert in a can, and you know, he quit cold turkey, and then eventually, I don't remember what length of time it was, a good long while, he found like a tin, you know, when he's cleaning up one of the, you know, rooms in his house. He's like, yeah, why not? You know, go ahead, and he packed him a bowl, sparked it up, and he said he'd never been sicker in his life. He's like, yeah, I'm done.
Dude, I bet that shit was nasty. You know, because it dries
out.
out.
It was old tobacco, and he hadn't smoked in forever and a day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet it made him sick to his stomach.
But yeah, that's one of the things. Like, if anyone ever tells me, like, you know, hey man, you know, you seem like an intelligent dude. It's like, I started smoking when I was 16, well after we all knew it was bad for us. I got sick to my stomach after the first one, and I still didn't stop. So you might want to reevaluate what you consider smart.
Exactly.
My dad gave me a cigarette when I was 5, precisely because he wanted me to get sick and never want to be anywhere near cigarettes ever again, and it worked. I never touched another cigarette in my life. But yeah, I remember I was a little kid, and I asked him what the cigarette tasted like. Hey, try some.
Well, like I think I'm kind of in the middle of the millennial generation, I guess. You know, towards, you know, closer towards the beginning of it. But I still remember like having candy cigarettes. You know, like the little packs of candy cigarettes.
Yeah, I used to eat those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember having that. Like, you know, they were passing those out like around Halloween at school, you know, in like the trick or treat bags when I was growing up. Like, you know, when I was a kid, NASCAR, it was still the Winston Cup. You were still able to advertise, you know, tobacco. And so yeah, it's like, I mean, my whole family's, you know, smokers. Like my mom's side of the family is all smokers. My dad's wife, she's a smoker. My grandfather, he was a pipe smoker. My dad's the only one who's not a smoker, and he chews. So it's kind of just family tradition.
And then to go back to the country song, and you get the Hank Williams.
Yeah. Except my family tradition is, you know, cancer and heart disease, self-imposed.
I didn't realize that I had hit 103 followers.
Sweet.
Awesome, dude.
So like that, I mean, granted, I'm sure at least 20% of them are porn bots and others, but the like. But yeah, it's yes.
Now I'm kind of curious at mine, because I've got a few more, but I need to go through and see just how many of them are actual people. Because it was funny before I, you know, even sent my first tweet when I started this thing, I had like 2 followers already. Like I had the Cash Cab guy and
he got me too.
Yeah, Martin Luther King's niece. It's like,
on
what?
YouTube or
On Twitter. Yeah. Alvita C. King was one of my first followers. That did not last long.
Velveeta?
Alvita. Yeah.
Okay. Velveeta?
Close enough.
I just assume that every single one that I don't recognize the name is a bot. If I don't know who you are, yeah, you're probably not a real person.
Yeah, there's a few that they're like just trying to spread their brand and stuff. They're just trying to market out, which is understandable.
Yeah, that's what I think is funny. Is like there for a while I would get like, it was like European, like porn websites. It's like, I don't even watch European porn. If I can't understand those bitches, I'm not. Yeah. Like some German porn websites, like that doesn't even sound sexy. No.
Porn.
But then you get like the random cam models and whatnot. And like, you're okay, but I ain't paying for that. No.
Yeah, them Germans love that scat.
Yeah, they are. They're into some weird shit.
Yes, they are.
But no, what would get me is like you would get like, I would get random people following me that I had no interaction with. Like there was one was like a professional hockey player, and it was funny to me because I would always like there at the beginning I would like message him, be like, "Hey, thanks for the follow. If you don't mind me asking, why?"
Right?
You play in the NHL. What the fuck are you following me for?
Well, that's what I said to Ben Bailey. And I'm just like, okay, I have 75 followers. How many can I say that I can brag as Ben Bailey? And he actually liked and retweeted it. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
but yeah, it's always funny to me, like messaging him. Like I did one. I messaged him was like, hey, just want to say thanks for the follow, and by the way, I'm not a bot. ... But that is what a bot would say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I had a couple actually stand-up comics that I follow message me, and they're like, this is, if you're a fan, follow this, and I'm like, And I was thinking, with us doing the criticisms of the New York Times list of the stand-up comedy,
yeah,
I thought about messaging them and being like, so we're gonna do this. If you guys are interested, if you're not busy, here's the link.
Yeah, the only interaction I've had with any stand-up comedians, I got into an argument with Sam Tripoli. I don't even remember what it was about now.
Sam Tripoli?
Yeah.
Who is that?
He's a stand-up comedian. He hosts I can't remember what his podcast is, like Tinfoil Hat something.
Right.
And he hosts, I think they call it like the Naughty Show at like the Comedy Store or something like that. He's been on with Joe Rogan before on his podcast.
Right.
And then the only other one I can think of that I had any interaction with was Ed Byrne, and that's because he blocked me.
that was so funny.
I mean, I was like, really, dude? I just started following you. I like your comedy. I tagged you in a tweet because I thought you would find it humorous.
Expecting a comedian to have a sense of humor. What were you thinking?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
no shit.
I was
But
friends with the stand-up comedian, actually. Not a famous one, but someone at my work used to do comedy. So I went to watch her, and so now I've got a bunch of Facebook friends that are stand-up comedians that I never interact with, but they still count. They're there.
Well, it's like I follow Steve Hofstetter on Twitter and Facebook, and he maxed out his you can follow this guy on Facebook. they only give you a max amount, I guess.
That's weird.
And yeah, so then he created a personal Facebook account, and he, friended me on there. And he's like, yeah, this is where additional, stuff's going to be. If you ask something, chances are I'll probably answer it. And what was he? Yeah, he's done like heckler videos and stuff like that. And
that name sounds familiar now that I think about it.
He's a redheaded Jew guy, I guess.
Okay.
And
somebody else.
Yeah,
that narrows it down.
Yeah.
There can't be too many of those running around.
And yeah, I got, random Facebook friends, friend requests from people who he also added to as friends requests. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So
yeah, my rule for Facebook when I actually use it was like, if I don't know you, I'm not adding you. You being a friend of a friend, I don't care.
Yeah, sketchy.
I actually think part of the reason is Facebook calls them friends, but Twitter calls them followers. So it's like, I don't want to be your friend, but if you want to follow what I'm doing, I don't care. So I have like twice as many Twitter followers than Facebook friends because of the way it's described by the platform.
Well, for me, I think what was that meme? It's like, Facebook is where you have all of your people that in real life that you can't stand. Twitter is where like all your friends that you've never met.
That's basically what I've got. Yeah. Everyone I know in real life is on Facebook, and all my internet friends are on Twitter.
Well, like it drives my girlfriend crazy because she's on Facebook. She uses that all the time, and so it'd be really funny. She'll come in there to like show me a meme. She'll bring her phone in, like, "Hey, have you seen this?" Like, "Yeah, I saw it 2 weeks ago on Twitter."
Yeah,
and just kind of slap it down, like, "Yep, already seen it." Just to fuck with me, like, "Yep, that's a stale meme."
I've noticed that too. That Facebook is a bit behind the times in terms of that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least they still got some funny ones, man. Have you seen any like Tumblr memes lately?
Oh God. I don't.
Tumblr's dead, isn't it? For all intents and purposes.
I use it for porn.
Okay.
It's for porn.
Is there tits on Tumblr? Is that what you're telling me?
There's plenty.
Well, now you piqued my curiosity.
Yeah. I do remember sending a shout out. I think this is when I got 50 followers, and I'm like, yeah, thanks for following me. Thanks for following me, and extra thanks to the 10 porn bots that follow me.
Yeah.
And like half of the porn bots like the tweet.
Well, what gets me is like I don't get many people like in my mentions. I think Johnny, you probably show up more than anybody. Just like, hey, have you seen this? But like a few weeks ago, I had one like notification pop up. It was like, yeah, somebody added you. I'm like, okay, well, what's this about? And it was some like porn bot cam model account or something. It had my name, like and a bunch of like other random people that they tagged. I was like, why? You don't even follow me. I don't follow you. I've never even heard of you. Just pulling random names off of Twitter to see if they'll sign up for your my free cams or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's
like I got a Pornhub.
Exactly.
Yeah, I still got a few of my original porn bots actually. That I scrolled through my followers.
I have one so far. I think the other ones, I think, have just deleted their things.
Yeah, there's 2, 3. Okay. I've actually lost some of the porn bots. I'm only at 3 now. I used to have like double digits.
Yeah.
I haven't counted how many porn bots are following me. I have no idea.
Well, what I think is funny is like now, I follow some porn stars on Twitter as well, and I saw one of the guys from the Lords of the Night chat on Twitter the other night. He had replied to somebody's tweet about, like this guy was complaining about seeing porn randomly in his timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he replied, is like, well, I like porn and I never see it. Why are you complaining about about this? Like why don't I get to see this stuff? It's like, dude, you're not following the right accounts.
Dude, you need to follow some Mexican guy, stone Mexican guy. Yeah, I think he's stoned now. He's stone Mexican guy. He's got some quality female form going on in his feed, dude. Yeah.
But he had this, I think it was Harvos Marvos is the one that he's like, well, help, how do I know who to follow? I don't know who to follow. I was like, you need help? You need directions to find porn on the internet? Really?
Yeah, really.
and so finally, like I gave him like, one porn star's name, and like she went through and liked 3 of my tweets in that thread. So like, I was like, dude, they're on Twitter. You just type in it. You like porn? Type in a porn star's name you like. She's probably got a Twitter account.
Yeah, your boy Pat's the one to follow on that one.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I should have tagged him and like, hey Pat,
Dude,
school this guy real fast.
Man, I mean, but who don't love a great pair of titties? I mean, shit. You know
it's the only time you'll probably see Pat typing 50 words a minute.
Yes.
Oh man, all this stuff right now is talking about the fires in California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's like right up on the freeway and everything now. Like that is insane. Like they're dumping water out of a helicopter right next to, like, on the freeway while people are driving by. That's some crazy stuff. I don't know why anybody would want to live in California.
I suppose if you're far enough left, it feels like home.
Earthquakes, mudslides, forest fires, movie producers. Why would you want to go there? I mean, it being 70 degrees and sunny 300 plus days a year, that's not enough for me. That's not a good enough selling point. Like, we get plenty of sun here in Oklahoma too.
I remember when I was doing phone surveys, one time I had to do phone surveys to a suburb that was currently on fire. Like, I didn't get very many people taking the survey.
Dude.
They were a bit more concerned with the blaze.
Not dying.
Burning down the suburb.
Good God.
Who's answering a number they don't recognize when that shit's going on?
A couple of people did. None of them took the survey, but a couple of them did answer the phone. And then it was like, I am doing a survey for state politics. Like, oh, no, not interested. Sorry.
Yeah, that's way nice. That's way nicer than I used to get. I actually I worked at an outbound call center hawking credit cards one time, and they would roll it on the time zone so that no matter what time of day you were calling, you were always interrupting somebody's dinner. Like, I would start my shift at like 4:00, and I'm on Central Time, and so we'd start with the East Coast and just every couple of hours roll to the next one.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, they'd ask, "Hey, anybody want to stay, for an extra hour or two and get some overtime and call Hawaii?" It's like, why? So they can say, aloha. You know, 9 times out of 10, I just got like, "Fuck off," click.
Yeah. I don't even enter my phone anymore because it's always just people trying to sell me stuff or do surveys or whatever. And no one I want to talk to ever calls me. There's the internet for that.
Yeah, like if the only people that call me are family, and generally if they call, it's like, "Oh shit, did something happen? Is everything okay?" But no, like the only phone calls I really get, it's I have a cell phone, and I'm still getting like telemarketers and shit calling me, and it's really weird because like they'll say like, "Hey, press this number to be put on our do not call list," and then like 3 days later, it's the same fucking call. It's just from a different number. It drives me insane. It's like, dude, I've asked to be put on your no call list like 7 times already. Just leave me the fuck alone. I don't want your health insurance. I don't need help refinancing my student loans. Leave me alone.
The funny thing is, even if you accepted, they'd still call you because I don't think they exclude their customers. It's just like we get so many rejections. Let's just call everyone, just every single person in the.
Well, like for the longest time, that was the selling point of having a cell phone over a landline. It's like, yeah, telemarketers aren't going to call your cell phone. They're just going to call your landline. And then everyone stopped using landlines and got cell phones. And like, yeah, let's call cell phones now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so I don't even answer it. It's like,
Well,
pretty pointless having.
if they catch me in a good mood, I will answer it and I'll play along just to fuck with them, see how long I keep on the phone. I think my record's like 45 minutes. I had some poor dude in Bangladesh trying to sell me something. I just stretched it as long as I could. Like, "Oh yeah, no, dude, I'm totally interested in buying your widget or whatever. But could you hold on 1 second? My girlfriend's got to talk to me 1 second." And I just put him on mute.
Yeah.
Go walk off, make a sandwich, come back like 3-4 minutes later.
Oh, my friend actually, he came up with a good way to not get called, and he put a porn on, and it was one where he's just like, "Oh yeah, just give me a second," and he brought up the one, and it was one where you can like hear people knocking, and they have this whole conversation, and then bam, it gets right into the action. And so yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got someone at the door," and then puts the phone. Puts his the phone next to the speaker, and does this whole thing. And he's like, I don't even know how long the guy lasted, but he's like, I got back on, and there was no one there.
Well, like with that poor dude in Bangladesh, like that sat on the phone for 45 minutes. What finally broke him was I came back from, I don't know how long I had left him on, just mute. He really wanted to make that sale, whatever it was, and I just queued up was it Goodbye Horses, and started doing the whole Buffalo Bill thing. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck.
God.
And then I just started making like the most obscene grunting noises, like I was jerking off into the phone. And finally, I heard the click. I was like, "Yep, all right, I can go back to doing whatever I was doing." But I mean, like we still had prank calls when I was a kid. So like, yeah, if you're gonna be a telemarketer calling me, prepare to be fucked with. It's like now instead of me having to call you, you're calling me. That's the only difference. Like, but it's telemarketers, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the patience to fuck with them like that. I'd just be like,
"Oh well, I've got to have some free time on my hands. Like if I got shit to do, it's like, no, I'm not interested. Fuck off." Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you catch me on one of those days where I've got nothing better to do, yeah, I'll just fuck around with you. Yeah. I'll waste your time. I got nothing better to do. Why not? It's like when I get in some of these Twitter arguments, it's like, dude, like I work at night. I've got nothing better to do all day than just keep going back and forth with you. How long you want to keep this going, man?
That's yeah, that's me. I've got nothing but free time, so if someone says, "Don't you have anything better to do?" Not really. Like I could watch more YouTube and play more video games, but no, I want to do this for now.
Well, I find Twitter accounts, they just, if they say something like really stupid, like I'll click on their page and I'll just scroll through their timeline, see what kind of stuff they're retweeting, see what kind of replies they're sending off. And I found a couple of them that I went ahead and just started following just so I could poke at them from time to time. Like there's that one guy that I was arguing with about Elizabeth Warren and her whole one drop of tribal heritage. That lasted pretty much all day. And I finally got him to tell me to go, fuck off at like the 12-hour mark.
Now my friend told me it doesn't matter what percentage of native you have. It depends on your skin color.
So I'm Indian 6 months out of the year. Good for me.
Yeah, it's like I told him. I keep telling people like I'm a summer native.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it just depends on how much time I spend out in the sun. I've got that farmer's tan from like working a job outside for a couple months. A temp job last year. I've still got that going. But I'm an indoor cat for the most part. So
yeah, outside is to be avoided.
Well, yeah, especially here because we have dramatic shifts in the temperature. Like in the summer, it can be 105, and I've had to go work outside, 20 below freezing, which I mean compared to other parts of the country ain't shit, but when you're spending months at a time, in the 90s and over 100. Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. I can't handle the cold very well. I can handle the heat because Australia, it's always hot. But when it gets really, really cold, like when I went to Switzerland, that's horrible.
Well, I like to joke that Oklahoma, the heat in Oklahoma in the summertime, it's like Florida just without the coastline. It's just muggy.
Hopefully without the Florida man as well.
Oh no, we've got our fair share of idiots. There were a couple I sent into MSS News that they didn't get to, unfortunately. This Oklahoma City guy got arrested for selling weed, and his last name was Weed. And then like a month later, his brother got arrested for the same damn thing. It's like, dude, the cops know you by name. Maybe you should find a different line of work.
Well, I also think the police should keep an eye on Tony Meth, just in case.
Yeah, maybe instead of trying to sell weed, maybe you should just, maybe you should upgrade. Start selling coke. Maybe they won't catch you that way. But there's plenty of stupid to go around here.
We just had a gal here, and I really wish that it would have been. I really wish it would have been bigger news, but she was. We worked with her for. She'd been there at my other job for about, I'd say, 2 months, and then all of a sudden, just stopped showing up. And so we're like, oh, what's going on? And everything. And I guess I go, well, why is she gone? And they go, dude, she got fired. I'm like, well, how the hell she must have really fucked up if she got fired. Because we're like pretty understaffed. So like you really have to kind of, do something unforgivable if they're going to let you go. And she goes, no, she threatened to kill one of the managers, and I'm like seriously?
Wow.
He goes, yo, yeah, like, and then when they handed her pink slip, I guess she lunged over the table at the store manager, and they had to keep her restrained, and the cops were called and all this other stuff.
How many triangles are there?
And then come to find out, that's all that I had heard previously. Before that, I guess just a couple of weeks before, she was staying at a friend's of hers place, and she poisoned. She put cleaning fluid in the milk and this guy's beer.
Yeesh.
Jesus Christ.
And they got really fucking sick.
I bet they did.
And yeah, it's like, and I guess even before that, she was on Dr. Phil.
Did they not do any kind of background check at your job?
Apparently not.
I'm sorry, but if I were
the sad part is it's a national chain. It's not,
I'm sorry if I'm working in HR and I run a background check on you and I find out you were on Dr. Phil. I'm not hiring you. Like that's a hard no.
Reason for leaving previous job: poison the bottom.
Well, no, going back to kind of like our Florida man down here in Oklahoma, we have in my area we have a publication called Jailbirds, and all it does is it takes like 5 surrounding counties that I live in, it takes all the mug shots from them and it kind of tells you what they got charged with. And when I was working at the for the tribe at the Travel Plaza next to the casino, they would have these up there, and you would thumb through them, and like me and the security guards from the casino would play a game that we called Jailbird Bingo, and it was just trying to see how many of the people that were in each month's publication you had interactions with at some point, and you got points based off the number of people plus like what kind of relationship you had with them. Whether you interacted with them at work, whether you knew them personally, went to school with them. And then like one of the casino managers, he heard about the game. So he tried to get in on it. It's like, well, what if you had sex with one of them? I was like, oh, hold on. It's like, you're telling me that one of your notches was in the Jailbirds? He's like, yeah. I was like, misdemeanor or felony? Like that's going to determine how many points.
5 points for misdemeanor, 15 for felony.
But what was really funny is because they also have dumb criminal stories in there as well. And there was one story that was not even 5 miles down the road, maybe 10 miles from where we worked. There was this little no-tell motel, and the manager, she was staying in one of the rooms there and also running a meth operation out of it with her boyfriend or whatever. And one of her customers came to buy meth from him, and they took the money and didn't give him any meth, which, that's bad customer service no matter how you slice it. But, this person got upset, and they're like, well, if you don't like it, you can call the cops and tell them that your dope dealer stole your money, which is the last thing you fucking say to a junkie, because that's exactly what they did.
Well, it's not like drug dealers have a human resource division.
But it was hilarious because that's exactly what happened. That person was like, oh yeah, they called the cops and like, hey, my drug dealer stole my money and won't give me any drugs. And the cops were like, "Oh, really? Well, where is this drug dealer located so we can rectify that for you?" But the best part is like one of the girls that worked at the Travel Plaza, she got put in the jailbirds for like some kind of I think driving without a license or something like that, which was really hilarious because she came back to work and like the first day there, I looked at her when she walked in, I was like, I got a question for you. She's like, what? I was like, what kind of bird don't fly? She's like, huh? I was like, jailbird.
No, they had. I don't know if they have it for each individual state, but they have a prison.
I don't think they have that in the Northeast, man.
Like
Because
it's a prison logbook that you can go on and be like, you look up a name, and yeah, if they're in the prison, they're in the system, and then you can look them up.
well, I mean, I don't think they have stuff like this in the Northeast though, because like this is just like a little like it's like a newspaper pretty much, So you buy it at a convenience store when you're passing through. And I had this one lady who was passing through from like Boston, and she saw that. She's like, "You guys have newspapers just full of people who went to jail?" I looked at her, I was like, "Yes, ma'am. Public shaming is alive and well here in the South."
Yeah.
But yeah, she just couldn't wrap her head around that. It's like just a whole newspaper for people who went to jail. Yep. When you fuck up, we all know about it down here.
Oh, we got a 10-minute warning.
10-minute warning. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I gotta get going in a little bit.
Fair enough.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I was sitting at work. Well, I was sitting at home on my way to work, and I'm pretty much left alone during the week. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my PlayStation and I go, do I want to take you to work with me? And I'm sitting there for 10 minutes. I'm like, no, yes, no. Yeah, I'll take it. And then I start packing up. I'm like, no, I should probably, in case my direct supervisor comes in. That's the one thing that she's like very adamant that we don't have because they can be, distracting.
A little.
I mean, I did happen when I was with my my ex. My stepson gave me. He's like, yeah, you should try this out, and it was Pokemon Ruby Red on the Game Boy Advance. And I took it to work, and I'm like, yeah, let's see what this is about. I've never heard of it before. I mean, I've seen the commercials for it and saw it had the cartoon, so I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, let's watch it, or let's play this, and we'll see. And I went through an entire shift, and I'm just like, I didn't get anything done. I sat there on the couch pretty much of the 8 hours I was there, I probably did 45 minutes worth of work. And I'm like, I cannot take this to work anymore.
Well, for me, now that it's getting colder and people aren't willing to walk over from the projects anymore, I found myself with a lot more free time at my job. And if I'm not listening to live streams, I'm usually just listening to music to try and pass the time. So I couldn't take a video game up there with me. I wouldn't get anything done either.
Yeah, I have an emulator on my phone, and I have a few ROMs that they work okay. Like, turn-based RPGs and stuff work really well. But like anything else is like, I can't take Mario on my phone because then your fingers are slipping off. And like I played a randomizer for Super Mario World, and I couldn't get past the first level because the controls on the thing, like, it's all touch screen. So it's awful.
So who are the cops coming for?
That would be me.
Well, I mean, like, I live really close to where I work, so while I've got a decent house on a nice street, like, we are ghetto adjacent, so there's always sirens going off around where I live.
I've got no idea what emergency service was driving past or where they were headed. But yeah, sirens are a common occurrence for me as well.
Yeah, I have the cop shop just a block or so away from here. So I'll occasionally get a couple sirens.
Yeah, it's either sirens or trains at night. My girlfriend, she doesn't know how I sleep, and I sleep like a rock. I just close my eyes and just switch off, and it's hilarious because I told her, like, well, earthquakes. I grew up next to a bomb factory, train track. Like, yeah, I can sleep through tornadoes. It doesn't matter.
Do you have the opposite problem where if it's too quiet, you can't sleep?
I don't have a problem with it being too quiet. If I have a problem, it's generally like I can't get my mind to slow down.
Yeah.
So that way I'll just be sitting there, and then like the quiet bugs me because then I know it's like I should be going to sleep.
That was my dad's problem because he's used to all the background noise. So anytime that there wasn't any, he couldn't sleep. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I've got no problem sleeping when it's quiet. But yeah, my dad was always complaining that he didn't like where I used to live because there was no background noise. It was too quiet for him.
Oh, if I'm tired, man, I'll just clock out. It doesn't matter. But but yeah, like growing up where I grew up, it was right near the train tracks. Only a few miles away from where they were blowing up shit every other day, and tornadoes. So we have the tornado sirens going off whenever in the summertime. I could sleep through it. I slept through sex one time. That's how well I sleep when I'm tired.
Your sex or someone else's?
No, I was actually a participant, apparently.
Sir, you have been raped.
Well, like it was funny because like I was like 18, 19, just out of high school, living on my own with a couple of roommates, and ended up hooking up with this chick, and we went at it a couple times that night. I go to sleep, because I got to get up and go to work the next morning. I come home from work, this chick that I hooked up with, she's friends with my roommate, so she's still hanging around. And she's like, wow, 3 times in one night. That was awesome. I was like, 3? I remember 2.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the look on her face, she was not happy hearing that news. Yeah, I was like, wait, 3? What?
Bucky's. I'm one of those people who needs background noise to sleep. I slept through an attempted murder next door.
That's morbidly hilarious, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like an insomniac who, just sitting there like, trying to count sheep and just like, stop, no, and put the knife down, and just finally just dozes off.
And a fire at the same neighbors. What is going on over there?
That sounds like an episode of Cops. Like we, getting called out to an attempted fire, attempted arson and murder.
So, yeah, as a closer, I actually, I was never really into comics because I grew up in a town of 1,000 people. We had magazines with, it was just nothing but, there was no story to it whatsoever. So it was just, if there was any kind of story, it was mostly just like fan stuff, like just speculation. We're doing a cartoon, we're doing a TV show, whatever. And so my friends, when I moved here, the town I'm in now, they got me into, a whole bunch of different stories. But I didn't really, make any connections to any particular hero, because they were just like, oh yeah, everyone loves these. You find the people who are, they don't really get into the thick of the comic book lore, because like if you read through like our high school yearbook, there's a list, of a bunch of questions that they give you, like who's your favorite superhero, and it's always typical. You got your Superman, Batman, weightlifters liking the Hulk, surprise. And I didn't have any reference. Like I didn't have any reference for anything, so I couldn't just, like, it had to be, your typical Superman, Batman, whatever. And my first introduction to Captain America was the movie of the 80s.
Oof.
It's god awful, and I'm like, this is not, like, why would I like this? It's
Well, like I got it started with comics through the animated stuff. Spider-Man. As Amazing Friends. Batman the animated series. When I was a little kid, my grandmother had actually bought me a comic book when she was traveling, and she came back and gave it to me. It was a Spider-Man meets the Fantastic Four. And now that I think that's probably what caused the fight that with my sister that my mom cleared out the living room for. Was she tore that thing to pieces.
Oof.
Yeah. And I was so pissed because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a grandma's boy. My grandmother gave me a present, and I was enjoying reading it. I was a little kid, still learning how to read and everything. And she ripped that to shreds, and I was But after that, I was like, I told my girls, like, don't buy me comics. I can't guarantee that they'll be safe. But listening to Polly and Jack and Quiz doing the comic curations is actually giving me references to get back into comics and start reading some good stories.
yeah.
I'm thinking about picking up. I'm thinking about picking up that Gotham by Gaslight.
I have the movie. It's really good.
I mean, it sounded like an interesting premise. So yeah, but I found out as I got older, like, my grandmother is a bit of not like an actual comic book nerd, but she loves comic book characters. Like, her favorite's Wolverine. I didn't know that until I was like in my 20s.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, my grandmother's a hoarder. So I found out, like, going through, like, there was a period of time I was actually living with her, and like, she's got all these Hot Wheels and like Wolverine and Kiss collectibles.
Weird.
Yeah, like, just and Barbie dolls and James Dean, Elvis, Marilyn. Like, she's got a weird collection of like 1950s, nostalgia and like comic book nerds. Like, she's I'm willing to bet you there's probably like some 20-sided dice, somewhere in the house too. Like she's weird. It's an odd mix.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was just after my separation. As me and my friend, like he'd just gotten divorced. I just got separated from my ex, and we were both just like, ugh. And we were flipping through, and we were going through the PlayStation Network because I was looking for free games, and I noticed that they had like Marvel Pinball, and I'm like, oh, let's check this out, see if they got something free for us. And just it's a Zen. The brand is Zen, I guess. And they had a couple free, pinball machines on their thing. But there was Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and the Fantastic Four as one set of a pinball collection. And I played the Moon Knight one, and I immediately, just in the interaction of Khonshu and Mark Spector, I'm like, that's my guy. That's who I like. And then, yeah, it was pretty much like anything that I had as a reference to any comic book character is essentially, the Spider-Man cartoon, and then, Spider-Man cartoon, the X-Men cartoon was my introduction to these characters. And so it was kind of weird to go from, and then when the movies came out, I didn't have that reference of, this is what, Peter Parker's actual.
Surprised an extreme mode stay stuck in the toughest conditions.
Sorry about that. And I'd started playing.
Like all of my references for comic book characters were actually from movies when I was growing up. Like, when you had Spawn come out, it was The Crow. Like the graphic novels, I guess, movies based off of. The one I found before there was any kind of like a mainstream media attention was a Preacher. I'd heard about that one, but I never had any comic book shops or anything I could go to like start picking it up.
Yeah, I didn't like all these ones that are coming out. They're like, oh yeah, this is based on a Vertigo comic. I'm like, oh, well, that's like Lucifer. That show that just came out. It's
on Fox or whatever.
Yeah, that's based on the comic book, and yeah, that's it's a really good show.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw of it, but then again, I'd only see that when I was visiting family who had cable.
Yeah, and but yeah, that there was one that I thought about because I was talking to my friends. Because have you guys seen Almost Human?
I haven't.
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's Carl Urban and Michael Ealy.
Okay.
And it's pretty much it's a really good show if you should happen to stumble upon it somewhere. Carl Urban plays a cop who like crime gets so it's a future where like crime gets so amped up that they hire or that they create androids to help with the
policing.
pretty much as partners.
Okay.
And so,
So it's kind of like that Will Smith movie, was it Daylight or whatever, but without the aliens, androids instead of aliens, or mutants, whatever it was.
for which one?
I saw that they had a Will Smith movie. It's like a Max Landis directed a Will Smith, and it was on Netflix.
Oh, Bright.
Bright, that's what it was. I was thinking Daylight for some reason.
No, that's more Dungeons and Dragons-y type.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, this is like the worst Bad Boys sequel I've ever heard of. I'm not watching that.
It's not bad. I liked it. I mean,
I just assumed they didn't want to pony up the cash to get Martin Lawrence back.
Someone saying they needed to head off soon.
Huh?
Was someone saying they needed to head off?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've got to start getting on a tangent. We've killed your 10-minute warning.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's dead. Yeah, I gotta. I do have to get going. But yeah, we'll catch up on the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you guys have a great day.
Take it easy.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye.